like we were supposed to decorate the halls for homecoming, and we came up with the homecoming theme in the spring, but hopefully if homecoming is moved to this coming spring, then we could see that theme happen. I'm not going to say it yet because I want it to be a surprise just in case it happens, but hopefully it'll happen.
No spoiler alerts.
Yeah, stay tuned to episode 38 for the big reveal. Welcome to the Porter Pridecast, episode number 19. I'm one of your hosts, Brett Hespel, Lockport Township High School, joined by one of our other hosts, Adam Decaire, also Lockport Township High School. Decaire, it's December, baby. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, like they say, time flies when you're having fun. Kind of crazy. It's already December. It's getting cold. Snow will be here soon. Christmas decorations are out. It's always a good time to be a porter. But yeah, here we are, home stretch.
Did you decorate the new house for the holidays?
I did. Yep, I got up, did the lights, got brave, and went on the both stories and did all the peaks.
Oh.
And then I found out that I plugged it in and only half them worked, even though I made sure that I tested them all before I went up there. And then luckily, it was just one of the connection pieces just wasn't all the way in. So it's all good. It is all good.
I refuse to go on my roof. I refuse to. I can't. It makes me nervous. I won't do it.
You sound like my next door neighbor who might also have close ties to Lockport.
Oh, yeah. He's afraid to go on his roof, too?
He went up there, but it was with some help with a friend, and he only went on the first story. So maybe I can get him up on the second one next year.
Jason, I'm here for you. I mean, did I say it out loud? I'm sorry.
No confidentiality here.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so here we go, episode 19. We are in the process of turning this podcast from an athletics podcast into one that will be featured in The Economist magazine soon, because we're a scholarly work of art. Our last two episodes have featured people with their doctorates, Dr. Gilbert and Dr. Greenan. And this week we are going to continue on that trend of academic excellence, and we're going to feature the National Honor Society.
I mean, this is obviously great for the Pridecast, but it's hurting some potential future guests, like maybe Mr. Dan Blaskovitz. If it's getting harder and harder to get on, we're getting doctors, and he's going to have to do something by episode 200. Whew.
Yeah, that's a good point. Blasco, you have 180 episodes to get your act together, and then it's your time to shine. So this better be a good one. We've been teasing this for a while.
Hopefully we're still around by then.
Yeah. No. Maybe hopefully we're not around by then, because then we're going to have to follow through with putting him on the show.
We're going to – episode 199 is our farewell tour.
Yeah, see you guys. Never. So it's December now, 2020. Athletics are all shut down in the state of Illinois, so nothing's going on. Contact sports have been postponed. Non-contact sports are in a pause right now, probably till January, it sounds like. So not a lot to talk about in the athletic world. Thankfully, we can catch up on a few things that took place this fall, like the National Honor Society Induction Ceremony. And we're bringing on the sponsors for the National Honor Society, the faculty sponsors, as well as two of the leaders to come talk about that organization and everything. So that should be good. We got some exciting stuff coming up, though. I mean, Olympian, the first Olympian is going to be joining us very soon in the near future. So if you're into international athletics, maybe that's why, Mr. Decaire, we have a worldwide audience featuring listeners from Singapore, Germany, and Mexico, in addition to the United States. Maybe they're gearing up for our dive into Olympic athletics. Maybe that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it all makes sense now. I should have seen the writing on the wall. But yeah, looking forward to that one.
So that'll be fun. And then, possibly in the future one day, an NBA star coming on the show. I've had a little conversation about that. He's getting into his season, so I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's out there. It might happen soon. Now, in other news, Mrs. Featherling, it would like the Scholastic Bowl team to be mentioned. She's mentioned maybe an epic showdown between you and me on, Scholastic Bowl questions, trivia. I don't know what they call it, but
I feel like she's trying to impede on my Porter Pride Facts. Trivia wasn't good enough. We got to go. Well, now that we're an academic podcast, we got to have the Scholastic Bowl.
Yeah, that's true.
We got to silly sports trivia questions.
So that could be coming one day too. So lots of good stuff coming up. We're still working on our decade series. Back in episode 7, we did the football best of the decade 2010s for LTHS football. So if you haven't checked out that monster episode, the jumbo package back there on episode 7, you can go check that out with the one-of-a-kind Tommy Hook and Mr. Billy Reed.
The 2-for-1 special, that was.
That was. And then we got some other ones coming up. We're working on them. There's just other things happening, so we're going to be unleashing those as well over the course of this winter. So stay tuned. And Decaire, that this is a great way to pass some time is listening to the Pridecast. Have you heard of anyone lately who's passed some time listening?
No, I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of loyal Pridecast faithful, and we threw it out there in the last episode. Thanksgiving break's coming up. Great time to rest and relax and enjoy some time with family. And just said, great time to listen to some Pridecast episodes. And, somebody took us up on that. So, huge shout out to faithful, loyal listener, Dr. McBride. Guess we inspired him to redo his bathroom. And, he said just listening to us just made the time. It was like inspiration, creative inspiration. And there you go. You got any do-yourself projects laying around at home, throw on an episode of the podcast, and you'll be amazed at what you could accomplish.
I think it was Dr. McBride's shameless attempt to try to get himself on the show. And he was just trying to suck up to us and say, oh, guys, I was listening to all these episodes. That's what I think it was. We'll find out. One day we'll have him on and we'll have to ask him that question.
If Dr. McBride, if that was the case, you've been heard. We hear you. It's in consideration. I'm thinking maybe a possible
episode 199.
Might be a live. We could almost like a home improvement.
Oh yeah, this old house with Dr. McBride. He can bring the tools. We'll bring the banter while we talk. Yeah, I like it. We
can finish my basement. He can build us a studio.
There we go. All kinds of great stuff coming up. Before this gets any further off the rails here, let's take a break and we'll come back with our first guests here. Okay, Decaire, we're back here with our guests, our wonderful leaders, sponsors in charge of the National Honor Society. We have Mrs. Nicole Kuhlmann and Mrs. Sarah Steinke. How you guys doing? Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So let's just start with you introducing yourselves. Just tell us what you do at Lockport and how long you've been there. A little, just real brief about your background. Nicole, you can go first, and then we'll let Sarah go second.
Sounds good. I teach freshman reading at Central at the Freshman Center. I started out at Lockport as task force. Like 14 years ago. I was task force for.
That makes 3 of us, Nicole. You,
right?
Me, and Decaire.
Yeah, I was task force for 3 years, and then I got hired on full time, and I've been at Central ever since 2012.
Sarah?
And I've done National Honor Society as long as I've been at Lockport. So.
I'm Sarah Steinke. I teach honors and AP chemistry. This is my 16th year teaching at Lockport, and I have been at East the entire time. This is my 4th year doing National Honor Society.
So, Sarah, how did you, Nicole was already doing it before you jumped on board. How'd that work out?
I was looking for a way to connect with students in kind of a different manner than just, the classroom environment. I had previously been the junior class sponsor, and really had enjoyed, working with the students and planning prom. And I thought that, jumping on with National Honor Society and planning homecoming would be a great way to be kind of connected with the students again.
That's great.
I'm sure this doesn't come as a surprise to either of you, but we're both former NHS members ourselves.
Yeah.
But for those that might not know or might not be part of the esteemed club of National Honor Society, why don't you talk to us a little bit about just, what you do? You kind of mentioned a couple of things, but just tell us a little about National Honor Society.
All right, so just what National Honor Society is as an organization. It is a national organization, and it's founded on 4 pillars: leadership, scholarship, service, and character. And so we are looking for students who are well-rounded in those 4 areas. So they have to maintain high academic responsibilities, as well as be involved in the school community, demonstrate leadership, and obviously do community service above and beyond the graduation requirements. Nicole, do you want to tell us about what our organization itself does?
Sure. So as far as NHS goes, we do a lot of things throughout the year, but our main focus is usually homecoming. The dance is sponsored by NHS, so we do a lot of work with that. With homecoming week, we set up the movie night. With student government, we do promotional t-shirts to try and promote the week. So homecoming is one of our big ones. We also sponsor Teacher Appreciation Week. So we do a lot for the teachers that first week of May. We have a huge induction ceremony. We are one of the largest schools in our conference. We have the largest NHS membership. So that's awesome. We usually induct around 175, 180 kids each year. So those are our 3 main things. We do a lot of community service projects. We do Read Across America, which is where we go to a feeder school and we dress up as Dr. Seuss characters and we read to the kids to promote literacy, since that's a big thing for our district. We're trying to do it within our feeder schools as well. So those are some of our bigger projects and bigger things that we do.
Yeah, it's great. I noticed that Decaire pointed to himself before you said that character was one of the pillars, Sarah.
I knew it was coming.
So I don't know if that means he was highlighting that he is a character or that he lacks character.
I think they changed the requirements after I got in.
Yeah, they've revised it since that day. Okay, so obviously lots of things are different this year in 2020 because of COVID. I'm sure that your experiences with National Honor Society are no different. I know you just had the induction ceremony in early November. So this is the beginning of December when we're recording this. So it wasn't that long ago. Tell us about how that process was just different. I guess tell us what the process looks like and then how it was different this year because of COVID.
So our induction ceremony is usually a formal ceremony where all 175 to 200 inductees have an opportunity to come up on stage together and say the NHS pledge. There's a candle lighting ceremony, there's speakers, and we have an auditorium packed full of parents. It was standing room only in 2019. So, it's usually a very big event, very well attended. Obviously, that looked a little different this year since we couldn't have an auditorium full of people sitting, next to each other in chairs and have all of these students up on stage together. So we adapted our induction ceremony to look a lot like what the administration did for graduation in 2020. So we had smaller groups of students, groups of 10 students came up on stage, socially distant, to recite the NHS pledge. Their parents were able to spread out in the auditorium to watch. They received their certificates and they left. We did recorded speeches and a recorded ceremony that was posted on the website so that students and parents and community members could watch that, even though we weren't having the traditional ceremony in person.
Nicole, you've been doing these for a long time. It sounds like this ceremony was a lot more work.
Yeah, it was a lot more work because we had to pre-record everything and do everything multiple times versus just 1 hour, one ceremony. So it was more work on that end. It still looked similar, obviously very shortened. But we did post everything on the website for the kids so they could watch the candle lighting. Dr. McBride, Dr. Greenan gave speeches. We posted those for kids to watch that were pre-recorded. So we still had all the components, but yeah, it was definitely more work and a lot different.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, it's a shame that you couldn't have the traditional formal, but that's great that you're at least able to still put something together in a modified fashion to at least give those students in smaller groups, obviously, but the recognition that they deserve. So, you mentioned a lot of like obviously homecoming is a big part of the Lockport tradition and Porter Pride, which we're all about here on the Porter Pridecast. So, how does NHS kind of demonstrate or how do you guys show Porter Pride for our school?
So to show Porter Pride, we have the leaders in the school. So that's, one of the top things is just our leaders. A lot of them have been former basketball stars. Mr. Hessel knows all about that. Yes. Yeah, we have a lot of kids that are leaders. We do peer tutoring. So a lot of our kids take the initiative to help out their peers. Dr. Greenan always says best together, and we are best together. So our kids, really do try to help out each other. They also assist the teachers with their tutoring. So we really are all working together. So the leadership, the working together, the things we do in the community and try to work with our feeder schools, kind of show how we exhibit our Porter Pride.
I think a lot of, the small things are really big things. So, before final exams last year, we had students who stayed after school and they chalked the sidewalks. They, just put out positive messages of encouragement before final exams. Teacher Appreciation Week, I think it's, important as teachers, we all know that we don't always hear it. And so it's nice that NHS can be involved and active in appreciating their teachers and certainly building that community environment.
Yeah, that's great. And Nicole is right, Decaire. I don't know if you knew this, but the last two NHS presidents, Eric Cada and Donnie Wallace, members of the boys basketball team. So I don't know what the correlation is. Maybe it's basketball players make great NHS presidents. Maybe it's NHS presidents make great basketball players. I don't know which way that bridge goes, but it's facts are facts, Decaire.
Yes, I was aware of that because, Donnie did mention that every time he came on the episode to help us in the last summer. So, yes, great correlation there.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, Nicole, Sarah, thanks for taking a few minutes to come on and talk to us. We're going to bring on two of your leaders in just a couple minutes here. But great hearing from your point of view. Thanks for sharing with us, and go Porters.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for keeping the great traditions of our esteemed society alive. Thank you.
Yes.
We're glad to have such great role models.
Yeah, right. Great to hear from the leaders, the sponsors of NHS. They do great work. They work with some of the best students in the high school, and it is a prestigious organization. So good to hear their perspective on how that contributes to Porter Pride.
Yeah, no, it's obviously like we've pretty much everyone we've talked to, there's been a lot of changes with everything that's been going on. But it's awesome that that doesn't stop them, and they're continuing to put in the hard work and still, honor those students. With the induction ceremony, still doing community service. So that's great to hear. They always do a great job with, like they mentioned with homecoming week and teacher appreciation. It's always nice, to get those little pieces of candy and those little notes in the mailbox just to know how appreciated we are. So it was great to hear that they're still doing all those things.
And we are going to be joined in just a second by two of the leaders from this year's NHS group. So hang tight. We are back with two of our student leaders for the National Honor Society. We've got NHS President Frank Biamonte and Secretary Angie Dominguez. Frank, Angie, how you guys doing?
I'm doing good. It's good to be on the show. I appreciate the invite.
Yep, I'm excited too.
You should. Let's be honest. You should be. This is your chance for fame and fortune.
Yeah.
I mean, I get excited every time he emails me. I don't know if I'm ever going to get called back. So
Yeah, there is a lot of debate on my part when I hit send every time I send it to Decaire, whether we should invite him back. So you guys are leaders of National Honor Society. So I just want you to tell us just a little bit about who you are and just real quick your background. Angie, we'll start with you.
Okay, hi, I'm Angie. I'm a senior, and as secretary of NHS, my responsibilities are checking in the points and also attendance at meetings. And I also work closely with Ms. Steinke for design or coming up with the ceremony.
And Frank, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm as you said, Mr. Hespel, I am the president of NHS. My main role is kind of the overseer. You know, when we have meetings, I kind of help work alongside Ms. Steinke and Ms. Kuhlmann. I kind of lead the group, kind of making documents, making sure everyone's kind of doing their job. I mean, we recently just completed the NHS Induction Ceremony for those juniors. Felt like that was a huge success. My job for there was kind of just to read the names and kind of get them inducted. And you know, my main job, the main thing I have to do is give the speech that was posted on the LTHS website, and also to kind of lead events. So when we ever have events at the school, I'll always be there.
Decaire, is this the first time we've ever had a president on the show?
I think so. You know, we've had
a sitting president.
multiple doctors. Now I guess we've got presidents. We're just all the firsts. You know, this is exciting.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys talk to us a little bit of how you became officers? Is that something that you got to choose? Were you recommended? Were you voted? How does that process work?
So becoming an officer is completely voluntary. You kind of just you'll go on the NHS website and kind of apply through there. And for me, for everyone, the biggest thing is making your video. So you kind of got to sell yourself in making that video. That's the biggest thing. And I mean, I know my opponent that I ran against, he made like buttons and stuff like that for the students. And kind of, I know in years past they've made fortune cookies and stuff like that. Just it's a fun couple weeks of just kind of selling yourself to the school.
Angie, anything to add to that?
For me, I gave out chocolate bars that had like "Vote for Angie" on them. But yeah, basically what Frank said, you're trying to it's completely voluntary, and you're just trying to make yourself look appealing to everyone in National Honor Society, and based on your video and everything you say in your video, people vote for who they want.
All right, so let's run through it one more time. Could you guys do it kind of quickly what your responsibilities are? So Angie, as secretary, what is it you're in charge of?
So I'm in charge of, as secretary, checking in for points, making sure people have the correct amount of points for each category. And I'm also responsible for attendance at meetings and making sure everybody logs into those, as well as helping with the induction ceremony.
We need to vote someone in as secretary for the Porter Pridecast, Decaire, to make sure. See, we just interviewed Miss Kuhlmann and Miss Steinke, and Miss Steinke could not get her camera to work, so we could not see her. So I think we need some quality control help around the show.
QC, please.
Frank, run through one more time. What's the role of the president?
I'll sum up my role as kind of just saying it's just the overseeing position. I mean, I don't really have a job so much, like necessarily like how
it's like the Queen of England.
Where like everyone else has a job, like there's points coordinator and there's the secretary, there's all those positions. Mine's kind of just the overseer. So I lead meetings I'm right along Miss Kuhlmann and Miss Steinke. And the biggest event for me is the NHS Induction Ceremony, because in years past, this year was a little bit different, obviously, but in the years past, I'd stand in front of all the parents and all the students and give a big speech in front of them. But this year is a little bit different. It was pre-recorded.
We're going to talk about that in just a minute, so don't get too far ahead of us.
It's talking about those responsibilities. It sounds a lot like your role here on the podcast, Hespel.
Yeah.
I gotta tell all the good jokes. I gotta carry this podcast. He just hits the record button.
Yeah.
No, but some of the events you kind of mentioned, and obviously, we were talking. Basically, everyone we've talked to, things are obviously a lot changed this year with COVID and limitations and modifications for stuff that's going on with restrictions. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about what events NHS puts on, and if they're still going to happen this year, what changes are going to take place?
So usually probably my favorite and the biggest one that I've seen run in the years past was homecoming. That's kind of like our like award almost. Like when we get to host it, we usually go all out for it. And this year was definitely a bummer we weren't able to do that. So we do a lot of the school dances and stuff like that. This year, the one thing we were able to hold was a movie night. So that was kind of nice for the students to kind of get out there and do that. But usually we're the big dance and like any big school events will be there to kind of help set up and plan.
Angie, anything else that?
I know one event we did have this year was like what Frank said, the movie night. But yeah, we usually we were supposed to decorate the halls for homecoming, and we came up with the homecoming theme in the spring. But hopefully, if homecoming is moved to this coming spring, then we could see that theme happen. I'm not going to say it yet because I want it to be a surprise just in case it happens, but hopefully it'll happen.
No spoiler alerts.
Yeah, stay tuned to episode 38 for the big reveal. Yeah, that's good. So let's talk about the induction ceremony. So what does that look like in a normal year? Because I know it's a big deal. And then what was different this year?
So the induction ceremony is usually, you have a couple guest speakers come on stage. I know last year there was a speaker, and then there was Miss Steinke and Miss Kuhlmann each give their speech, and same with Mr. Greenan. And then it's my turn to come on stage, or would have been my turn, where I give my big speech in front of everyone. And then you kind of get rolling where you'll have 20 to 25 kids come up on stage in bleachers. They'll hold their candles, they'll say the pledge, and then they'll get their certificate. For this year, they only let 10 students and their families into the auditorium at a time. So it was definitely a longer ceremony, but I know the parents loved it because, you get in, you get out. That's kind of how it was. So, But
Angie, any thoughts on the induction ceremony?
I'm just really happy we were still able to hold it safely, because I feel like if we didn't have the ceremony, it would have been kind of a big bummer, and it wouldn't have been getting into National Honor Society is a huge deal, and I feel like not having a ceremony just it's really sad for the kids who worked really hard to be in it. So I'm glad we did that safely. And we also tried our best to space people out. I think we had families come at certain times, so there wasn't too many people crowded in the halls. And like Frank said, we only had 10 people on stage at a time. And for pictures, we had a little banner with National Honor Society on it, and you had to keep your masks on for that. So we were definitely trying to make it safe, but also we still had a ceremony.
Yeah, it was a big success. I think it went really well this weekend.
Yeah, I saw it. So it sounded like it. We're recording in early December here. This was about a month ago, early November that this took place. So it did look like a success. And I mean, just to be able to pull something off where that many people and their family members could still experience something is kudos to you guys. Hey, Decaire, did you know, speaking of which, that Angie is a Mr. Hespel World Studies alum?
Like I tell every other poor soul, I'm sorry. I'm glad you've moved on to bigger and better things, but.
And
I survived. I'm just kidding.
Survived? Get out of here. And Decaire also, so we're gonna kind of keep this in the family too, because the last two NHS presidents were boys basketball players. Eric Cada, Donnie Walsh. Frank played basketball for 2 years, so that's kind of like it's basically a three-peat. It's basically a three-peat. So I mean, I'm just saying, so
take it by a technicality. So
yeah, hey, you know what? You gotta take what you can get sometimes.
That's right. But yeah, obviously, you know, a lot of, great that you were still able to have that induction. You know, like you said, it'd be kind of a bummer to have that honor and not to have that for you and your family. So, you know, I'm glad you were able to do that, but also, like you mentioned, do it safely. So obviously we're here on the Porter Pridecast. We're all about Porter Pride, and, you know, you both being seniors, kind of reflecting on, your 4 years here. You know, obviously you're in your senior year, but looking at your time at Lockport, if you had to sum up Porter Pride in one word, what would that word be?
I would say teamwork, because I mean our motto is "Together we succeed," and I truly think when all of us come together and work together, we do succeed, and we thrive off of teamwork.
I like it.
Yeah, that's a really good word.
You can't use the same word. For
I'm not going to.
Don't copy me, Frank.
I would probably say with maybe consistency or hard work, because I say it every day in and out. Lockport's always doing 100% everything they can to kind of thrive the students. Like whether it be the staff or the students themselves, we're always making each other better, and we're consistently day in and out working hard to achieve success.
Good stuff, guys. Hey, you know what? Like, we just want to thank you both for taking a few moments to come on and talk to us a little bit about National Honor Society. And I'm going to tell you, when I was looking around and trying to plan out what we were going to do week by week, and then I emailed Mrs. Kuhlmann and I said, "Hey, who are the officers this year?" And she sent back, and your two names were on there. I was like, this is great because I know both of you guys, and I've gotten a chance to work with both of you, and I was really looking forward to this. So, congratulations to you guys on being leaders in our school. Keep up the good work, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, I'm excited to be famous now after this worldwide.
Great, yes, you are going to be.
That whole time you were talking about how important your video was for to become NHS president. All I was thinking of, this is great practice if you become president of the United States one day.
Real
president. Come back to your audition on the Porter Pridecast.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Frank Biamonte, Angie Dominguez, two of the leaders from the National Honor Society. We'll be right back with the rest of the show. That is our president of the National Honor Society, Frank Biamonte, and secretary of the National Honor Society, Angie Dominguez. Two wonderful people. Great job on the interviews, and definitely a great advertisement for what National Honor Society stands for.
Yeah, and I think, that's good advice President Frank there gave to any potential juniors who just got inducted, who might be thinking about becoming president, need to start working on that video. We're open for advice, Porter Pridecast at LTHS.org if you need to shoot us any emails. And it was great to hear from them. Glad they were able to, even in these hard times, still be able to put on some of these great events. And, like Angie was saying, hopefully, if things could get better somehow soon, they could put on that homecoming dance, because that is such a great tradition. And like Frank said, that's kind of how they go all out for that one. So, hopefully for all the students, we can do that.
Yeah, they definitely do good work. I think that maybe in the future, we could have some debates between the future candidates for offices right here on the show. Right? Why not? Right?
Yeah, I think they need to include us in the application process here.
Clearly,
we'll go through the live interview aspect.
Yeah. So it's great to be seeing. We've been telling you guys we're branching out, and here we go, another outside of the athletics world.
What are sports?
Yeah. What? Nobody plays those right now. So that was National Honor Society. Great to hear from them. There are so many wonderful things happening at Lockport, even during this pandemic. It's great to just be able to showcase them. So, but Decaire, everyone needs to be on the lookout for the article, the Porter Pridecast article. It's going to drop on LTHS.org very soon. So keep your eyes peeled. And we'll announce it here on the show, too, when it does drop, by Emmy Award. What is it? What do they win if they're Pulitzer Prize winning author Randy Whalen?
Yeah, shout out episode 16 star, the man with two hands in the air. Just had an opportunity to talk to Randy this morning. Always a pleasure to get to talk to him. But Yeah, no, it's a huge honor that he asked to do an episode or an article here on the Pridecast. So it was great to have him on, and now I guess he's returning the favor. So
there you go. In other news, make sure you're listening in, subscribing, sharing the show here in the United States of America, internationally with our friends in Singapore, Germany, and now Mexico.
That's
so
right.
Keep sharing it.
3 and counting.
That's right. Keep sharing it. Make sure you like it. You can find stuff on Twitter and Instagram, and then you can follow along on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever Mr. Dean said he listens on, whatever podcasting he's got going on. It's out there. So hit it up. Check it out.
And, if you're looking for some do-it-yourself improvements around the house, throw on the Pridecast.
That's right. You never know what you'll get accomplished. When you listen to the #1 rated LTHS podcast out there, and remember, Decaire, that no one
talks Porters like we talk Porters.
We'll see you guys next time.
Take care. Go Porters.
Hey, listeners. This is Brett Hespel of the Porter Pridecast. Just wanted to thank you for joining the show, but we also want to make sure you follow along. So here's our other host, Adam Decaire. We'll talk about where you can follow us.
Yeah, again, thanks for logging in, giving us a listen. Make sure to follow us on all your social media needs on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us at Porter Pridecast for both. So give us a like, give us a retweet, spread the word, tell all your friends, tell all your followers, like both those accounts, and keep on coming back.
And you can get the show, you can get our podcast wherever you find your podcasts. And you can also check out Porter Pridecast TV on YouTube. Just search Porter Pridecast on both, and you'll be able to come up with them. So make sure you subscribe to both of those channels so you can get all the episodes when they come out.
Don't forget to leave us those reviews, preferably 5 stars, and keep spreading the word. Go Porters.
Go Porters.